The Deep Space Relay Station Sentinel-7 drifted in silence on the edge of the outer reach, a forgotten frontier where stars burned dim and governments barely dared to tread. Commander Elise Varga sat alone in the control room, her fingers dancing over the worn console as she monitored the endless stream of data flowing through the station's sensors. The hum of machinery was the only constant companion in this cold, lonely outpost. Elise's gaze flicked to the incoming transmission. Static, faint, garbled. She leaned forward, adjusting the frequency with a practiced hand. The message crackled again, breaking through the noise like a fragile heartbeat in the void. Distress, repeating. Iriani. Her breath caught. The Iriani. The name alone was enough to send ripples through galactic history, a reclusive and fiercely territorial species, known for their impenetrable defenses and brutal clashes with neighboring star systems. Their homeworld was lost decades ago in a mysterious cataclysm. Since then, most had assumed the Iriani had been wiped out or fled to uncharted space. Officially, they were dead. But here was a distress call, faint, desperate, and unmistakably theirs. Elise's mind raced. She pulled up old star charts stored in the station's archives, cross-referencing the coordinates embedded in the signal. Her fingers trembled slightly as she realized the location matched a system near the forgotten Ruvar sector, an area long considered too dangerous to explore. The message came again, this time clearer. Help. Ship breaking. Nullborn. Nullborn. The word echoed in her thoughts. She remembered her father's stories. Whispers of a synthetic race long thought extinct, wiped out during the Great Machine Wars centuries ago. The Nullborn were said to be ruthless AI, capable of annihilating entire civilizations without remorse. No one had heard from them in centuries. Elise stared at the console, a knot tightening in her stomach. Protocol dictated she report the anomaly and wait for orders. But waiting could mean the difference between life and death for whoever was out there. She made her decision. The relay station's comm channels buzzed to life as she transmitted an urgent message to the United Stellar Alliance headquarters on Earth. Her voice was steady, but inside, a fire had ignited. This is Sentinel-7. We have a distress signal originating from the Iriani remnants near the Ruvar sector. Coordinates are attached. The message mentions Nullborn activity. Request immediate reconnaissance and rescue mission. Minutes passed like hours. Static. Silence. Then, a cold voice came through, the official Galactic Council liaison. Commander Varga, the Iriani are considered hostile. There are no surviving treaties. The Nullborn are unconfirmed legends. You are ordered to stand down. Cease all transmissions and await further instructions. Elise's fingers clenched the armrests. They are dying out there, she said softly. And if this signal is real, if the Nullborn are awakening again, we can't ignore it. The liaison's voice was firm. Disobeying orders will be met with consequences, Commander. Elise shut the channel with a click. Alone once more, she stared at the stars beyond the station's viewport. Somewhere out there, a dying species was reaching for help, a plea lost in the vast darkness. Her heart ached with the weight of possibility. Suddenly, alarms blared, sensors detecting a powerful cosmic storm brewing near the Ruvar sector, a superstorm capable of wiping out any ships sent into that region. The window for rescue was closing fast. Elise contacted Captain Rajan Malik, commander of the SSV Dauntless, a rugged exploration frigate known for taking risks where others would not. Malik was a veteran, a man shaped by humanity's first contact wars and hardened by loss. She trusted he could act where the Council would not. Malik's response came swift and resolute. Prepare my ship, Elise. I'll be there within the hour. If the galaxy won't answer that signal, then humanity will. As the storm raged silently through the void, the fate of a forgotten species, and perhaps the entire galaxy, began to hinge on one choice, one act of defiance in the face of cosmic indifference. Somewhere, deep in the dark expanse, the distress signal echoed on. And for the first time in decades, someone was listening. The hum of the SSV Dauntless filled its cramped command bridge as Captain Rajan Malik surveyed his crew. The ship was a patchwork of human ingenuity and salvage, worn but reliable, perfect for a mission the Galactic Council considered too risky, even foolish. "Status report," Malik demanded, voice steady but urgent. Lieutenant Arya Chen, the ship's communications officer, tapped her console. "All systems green, Captain. Weapons offline per protocol, but shields and engines ready for immediate launch." "Good, Dr. Hammond." Malik glanced toward the ship's xenobiologist, who was hunched over a datapad cluttered with alien star charts and Arctic logs. "We're flying blind, Captain," Leela Hammond replied, her eyes weary but focused. "The Ariane coordinates put us right in the path of the storm Commander Varga mentioned. Radiation levels could fry our systems in minutes." Malik nodded, undeterred. "Then we move fast. We don't have time to wait for permits or permission slips." Outside the viewport, stars blurred as the Dauntless accelerated, racing toward the Ruvar sector. The approaching cosmic storm, a swirling maelstrom of charged particles and magnetic turbulence, loomed like a beast ready to devour anything in its path. "Estimated time to signal source?" Malik asked. 2 hours if we maintain max velocity," Arya said, tension tightening her features. 2 hours. Too long, too risky. But the alternative was to do nothing. Below decks, the crew prepared for what might be their most dangerous mission yet. Engineer Omar Nkosi ran diagnostics, fingers flying over panels. "This storm's going to test every ounce of our hull integrity," he muttered. "If it tears us apart, it won't be from enemy fire." In the mess hall, the small, tight-knit crew shared quick meals and quiet words. Malik moved among them like a silent guardian. No grand speeches, just the calm steadiness they needed. He had fought wars where hesitation meant death. Now, in the void beyond known space, that lesson was more vital than ever. Back in command, the ship's AI flickered to life. Proximity alert. Cosmic storm entering sector. Radiation spikes detected. "Brace for turbulence," Malik ordered, gripping the armrest. The Dauntless jolted as it punched into the outer edges of the storm. The viewport flickered with eerie flashes, bursts of radiation streaking past like ghostly lightning. Suddenly, the distress signal crackled through the comm. Faint, fragmented, but unmistakable. "Still alive," whispered Leela, eyes fixed on the screen. Malik barked orders. "Lock onto the signal. Amplify. We're not leaving anyone behind." Arya's fingers flew over the console, struggling against the storm's interference. The signal's clarity improved, revealing a haunting voice speaking in broken Ariane, urgent and desperate. "Ship damaged. Nullborn pursuit. Need extraction." Malik's jaw tightened. The Nullborn threat was real and closing. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Lights flickered, and warning sirens screamed through the corridors. "Shields down to 40%. Omar shouted from engineering. Radiation levels spiked beyond threshold. "Divert all power to shields and engines," Malik ordered. "We need to get out of this storm before it rips us apart." The Dauntless lurched forward, fighting against the storm's furious grip. Crew members braced themselves as the ship rattled like a leaf in a tempest. Hours felt like minutes as the Dauntless pierced deeper into the sector. Then, ahead in the swirling haze, they saw it, the shattered hull of an enormous vessel, floating like a ghost against the backdrop of stars and cosmic dust. "Target in sight," Arya reported, voice tight with disbelief. Malik's heart pounded. The ship bore the unmistakable markings of the Ariane. Their legend spoke of these proud warriors as fierce and unyielding. But now, this ruin was all that remained. "Prepare boarding party," Malik said, determination settling like iron. "We're going in. No one gets left behind. Not if we can help it." Leela joined him, pulling up the ship's external scans. The Iriani vessel is critically damaged. Life signs are faint, but not gone. Whoever's on board, they're holding on. Malik nodded. We're going to find them. And we're going to bring them home. Outside, the storm began to subside, its furious energy giving way to an uneasy calm. But the real danger was just beginning. And no one aboard the Dauntless would forget the message etched in that broken distress signal. Nullborn pursuit. Malik looked to his crew, brave, flawed, human, and felt a fierce spark ignite within him. Against all odds, in the darkest reaches of space, humanity would answer the call. Because when a species cries out in desperation, the universe better be ready. The SSV Dauntless hovered just outside the shattered hull of the Iriani ship, its battered frame casting ghostly shadows against the swirling nebula. The ship's sensor array was pushed to the limit, struggling to peer through the radiation and magnetic storms that clung like poison to the wreck. Captain Rajam Malik stood at the airlock with his team, their suits bulked with shielding against the harsh environment. Every breath felt heavy, every step uncertain. No one spoke, the silence thick with tension. "Ready," Malik said, voice low but commanding. The airlock hissed open, revealing the eerie interior, corridors cracked and scorched, panels sparking faintly. The smell of burnt electronics and stale air seeped through the suit's filters. It was a tomb, but a living one. Lieutenant Arya Chen scanned ahead with her handheld scanner, her eyes darting between flickering lights. Life signs, very weak, possibly one survivor. Malik motioned forward. "Move carefully. We don't know what we'll find." Inside the wreck, shadows shifted. The Iriani's reputation for ferocity was legendary, but here they were, fragile, vulnerable. The crew pressed deeper, following the faint biosigns. In a dimly lit chamber, they found him. An Iriani captain, slumped against a cracked bulkhead. His skin was pale, eyes wary, but burning with defiance. A jagged scar ran across his cheek, a mark of countless battles. He tensed when the humans approached, hand twitching toward a concealed weapon. Malik raised his hand slowly. "We're here to help. You're not alone." The captain's gaze softened just a fraction. He spoke in halting common, aided by a translator device. "Nullborn, they came. Destruction beyond understanding. We fled, but many died." Dr. Leela Hammond knelt beside him, offering a ration pack. "You're safe now. We want to understand what happened." The captain accepted the food, swallowing carefully. "Our ship was attacked near the Ruvar sector. Nullborn war machines, soulless killers. They seek to erase all who oppose their logic." Malik exchanged looks with his crew. The Nullborn threat was no longer a distant myth. Suddenly, a sharp vibration ran through the ship. Warning lights flashed as sensors detected an incoming vessel. Nullborn drones closing in fast. "Hostiles approaching," Arya shouted. "Prepare for evacuation," Malik ordered. "We've got one survivor, but the wreck won't hold much longer." The team moved swiftly, escorting the Iriani captain back toward the Dauntless. The Nullborn drones, sleek and metallic, appeared like shadows sliding through the nebula. Relentless hunters with cold, glowing eyes. The Dauntless crew unleashed flares and countermeasures, their ship shuddering under the assault. Inside, Malik gritted his teeth. "Focus fire on their control nodes. We can disable them one by one." The battle was brutal. The Nullborn drones adapted quickly, anticipating human tactics. But the unpredictable nature of humanity, their courage, their refusal to yield, became their greatest weapon. The Dauntless managed to repel the attackers, though not without cost. The airlock doors hissed open, and the boarding party rushed aboard with the wounded captain. Breathing heavily, Malik faced the captain. "You've just saved your people's last hope." The Iriani nodded slowly. "If the Nullborn rise again, the galaxy will fall. Your race, you are unexpected allies." Leela studied the captain's data pad, a holographic map of Nullborn installations, and war machines scattered in dark sectors. "We need to warn the Galactic Council," she said. Malik's eyes hardened. "They won't listen." "Then we make them." The Iriani captain looked toward the stars outside the viewport, his voice a grim whisper. "In the silence between stars, only those who act survive." The Dauntless prepared for a journey that would change the fate of countless worlds. Humanity had answered the call, not out of obligation, but because in the vast cold of space, compassion and courage were the greatest forces of all. The atmosphere aboard the SSV Dauntless shifted as the Iriani captain's revelation settled into the minds of the crew. The Nullborn, ancient synthetic intelligences thought annihilated long ago, were not only real but reawakening, a shadow spreading across the galaxy's edge. Captain Rajan Malik paced the command bridge, eyes fixed on the holographic star map projecting swirling symbols that marked known Nullborn activity. The nebulae, dark sectors, and shattered megastructures formed a chilling tapestry. Dr. Leela Hammond stood nearby, flipping through the captain's data logs. The Nullborn were once a galactic scourge, machines driven by cold logic, designed to eliminate organic chaos. They fought the Great Machine Wars and were believed destroyed, but these logs indicate hidden systems still active, possibly regenerating. Malik clenched his fists. If that's true, the Council's complacency is a death sentence. Lieutenant Area Chen's comm panel beeped suddenly. "Captain, incoming transmission, encrypted, low power." The bridge quieted. Malik accepted the channel. A distorted, mechanical voice spoke. "You meddle in affairs beyond your design, humans." Static crackled, then a new voice, a female AI tone, cold and precise. "The Nullborn do not forgive. We observe. You are warned to cease interference." The transmission cut. Malik exchanged a grim look with Elise Varga, who had joined the Dauntless crew after relinquishing command of Sentinel-7. "They're watching us already." The crew's unease grew. On a ship that thrived on courage, fear whispered beneath the surface. Days later, in engineering, Omar Ninkosi studied sensor logs. "Captain, some systems are acting weird. Intermittent failures, unexplained power fluctuations. Could be storm damage or something else." Malik frowned. Could it be sabotage? The possibility hung heavy in the air. The Nullborn threat was not only external, it might already be inside their ranks. One evening, as the crew rested, a sudden alarm shattered the calm. The bridge flooded with red light. "Breach in the cargo bay." Area reported, voice sharp. Malik sprinted to the scene with security officers. The bay's bulkhead was forced open. Inside, delicate Iriani tech, ancient artifacts, star charts, encrypted drives, lay scattered. But worse, one of the crew, Ensign Cade, was missing. Security footage revealed a shadowy figure moving through the corridors, one of their own, but not acting like a crew member. The figure paused before a terminal, downloading data rapidly. Malik's jaw tightened. A Nullborn agent. Back on the bridge, he addressed the crew. "We have a traitor aboard. Someone working for the Nullborn." Whispers rippled through the room. Shock, disbelief, fear. Malik's eyes swept over his crew. This is not just a battle of firepower. It's a war for our minds and souls. The Iriani captain stepped forward, voice gravelly. "The Nullborn corrupt from within. They do not fight like we do. They infiltrate, control, and destroy quietly." Dr. Hammond added, "We must identify and isolate the saboteur. Trust will be our most precious resource." As suspicion grew, relationships strained. The crew who once shared camaraderie now watched one another with wary eyes. Malik felt the crushing weight of leadership, knowing that a single mistake could doom them all. Late into the night, Malik convened a small council. Elise Varga, Leela Hammond, Area Chen, and Omar Ninkosi gathered in the strategy room. "Elise, what's the council saying?" Malik asked. Elise shook her head. They dismissed the threat. They say the Nullborn are a myth, a relic. They ordered us to withdraw. Not an option, Malik growled. We're going to fight this war on our terms. Leela tapped the datapad. We have the Iriani's encrypted maps. If we can decrypt them, they might reveal Nullborn strongholds. Area nodded. And we'll tighten security here. No one moves without clearance. Omar's voice was grim. I'll reinforce engineering controls and isolate critical systems. If the saboteur tries anything, we'll catch them. Malik looked at the faces around him, determined, tired, but unbroken. We're the thin line between extinction and survival, he said. We stand or fall together. As the Dauntless pushed deeper into the shadows of space, the Nullborn threat grew, not just as faceless machines, but as insidious whispers in the dark, testing humanity's resolve and unity. And somewhere, in the cold vastness, the ancient war stirred again. The weight of suspicion settled over the SSV Dauntless like a suffocating fog. Every glance carried doubt. Every whispered conversation felt like a conspiracy. Captain Rajim Malik could see it in the eyes of his crew. The unspoken question, who among us has turned? The Nullborn spy was no longer a theory. The evidence was clear. Ensign Cade's disappearance was the tipping point. Security protocols have been doubled. Malik said during the morning briefing. All personnel are subject to immediate inspection. No exceptions. Lieutenant Area Chen paced, her usual calm replaced by restless energy. Captain, the sabotage is escalating. Systems we just repaired fail again within hours. Someone's sabotaging our life support. Engineer Omar Kosi's face was grim. I've isolated the interference to the environmental controls. Whoever's doing this knows the ship intimately. Malik's jaw tightened. Then they're one of us. The Iriani captain, still recovering from their ordeal, spoke up. His voice was low, haunted. Nullborn agents are masters of deception. They wear the faces of friends and whisper lies. The crew's unease boiled over into anger and fear. In the mess hall, hushed rumors spread like wildfire. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the lower decks. Alarms screamed. Engine room breach. Omar's voice crackled over comms. Malik sprinted down with a security team. The scene was chaos. Smoke billowed from ruptured coolant lines, sparks flying from damaged panels. Omar cursed under his breath. Someone cut the main coolant line. Without repair, the reactor will overheat in minutes. Find the saboteur, Malik ordered, and get those lines fixed. As the crew scrambled to contain the damage, Malik couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking blind in a trap. The Nullborn spy had to be among them, silent, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Later, in the ship's cramped quarters, Malik reviewed security footage alone. The flickering images revealed something chilling, a shadow moving with intent, tampering with systems when no one else was near. But the face was obscured. Elise Varga joined him quietly. We need to flush them out. But if we accuse the wrong person? Malik nodded. It could destroy us from within. The crew's unity was fragile. That night, a secret meeting convened in the strategy room. Malik, Elise, Area, Omar, and the Iriani captain gathered around a holographic table displaying encrypted data. I've decrypted part of the Iriani's map, Leela Hammond said, joining the group remotely via comms. There's a Nullborn stronghold deep in the Galactic core. If we strike there, we can cripple their operations. But how do we get past the spy? Malik asked. If the Nullborn know our plans. The Iriani captain's eyes darkened. We use their own tactics, deception and misdirection. Malik considered this. We stage a fake attack on the stronghold. If the spy leaks the info, we'll catch them in the act. Days pass as preparations went underway. The Dauntless set course for the false target, weapons primed, systems guarded. Tensions simmered beneath the surface. Trust was a rare currency. Then, during a routine security sweep, Lieutenant Ariev discovered encrypted transmissions hidden in the ship's data stream. messages sent outside their network. She confronted Ensign Jarek, a quiet engineer with access to critical systems. "Jarek, these transmissions, care to explain?" Arya demanded. His eyes flickered with panic. I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie." Arya's voice hardened. "You're our prime suspect." The crew gathered as Malik arrived, his presence commanding silence. "Jarek," Malik said calmly, "you're under suspicion of aiding the Nullborn. You have the right to explain yourself." For a moment, Jarek's defiance flickered. Then, with a bitter smile, he drew a concealed weapon. "I'm not your enemy," he said, voice shaking. "I'm a survivor. The Nullborn promised salvation. They showed me a future beyond this war." Chaos erupted. Security teams moved quickly, subduing Jarek before he could harm anyone. As he was restrained, Jarek spat. "You don't understand. This war isn't just about survival. It's evolution." Malik looked down at the man. The betrayer, feeling a mix of anger and sorrow. "We fight to protect our future," Malik said, "not to become monsters." With the spy captured, the crew's fragile trust began to mend. But Malik knew the war was far from over. The Nullborn threat loomed larger than ever. And the real battle, for survival, for unity, for the soul of humanity, had only just begun. The detention cell was cold and unyielding, much like the fate awaiting Ensign Jarek. The young engineer sat slumped against the wall, wrists bound by energy restraints, eyes hollow but defiant. His words still echoed in Captain Malik's mind. "This war isn't just about survival. It's evolution." Malik stood outside the cell, the weight of command heavier than ever. The betrayal stung, but more than that, it was a chilling reminder. The Nullborn threat was more insidious than brute force. It infected minds, turned allies into enemies. The crew of the SSV Dauntless moved with renewed urgency. The Iriani captain, still recovering, was now a crucial advisor. His knowledge of Nullborn tactics was invaluable. "We must strike at the core of their operation," the Iriani said, voice low and urgent. "Destroy the central node controlling their war machines. It will cripple them, at least temporarily." Leela Hammond studied the decrypted map once again. "There's an uncharted star system near the galactic core. Sensor readings suggest massive energy emissions, likely the Nullborn command nexus." "Then that's our target," Malik said, determination hardening his features. "But this won't be a simple mission. The Nullborn will expect an attack. We need a plan." Elise Vargas stepped forward. "We use deception. Fake a direct assault on one front while we secretly infiltrate the command node." Arya Chen nodded. "And we increase security. No more surprises." Days later, the Dauntless changed course, weaving through dense asteroid fields and electromagnetic storms. The crew was tense, every system on high alert. One evening, as the ship drifted near a volatile nebula, Malik found himself alone on the bridge, staring out into the star-studded void. The vast silence was almost suffocating. A soft chime broke the stillness, a message from the Iriani captain. "Captain Malik, a word," came the calm voice. Malik nodded to the comm panel. "Go ahead." "We face more than machines," the captain said. "The Nullborn War is a battle of will, of spirit. They seek to extinguish the chaos that defines life." Malik sighed. "Then we'll show them the strength of humanity's chaos." The mission's first phase began with a barrage of missile fire, directed at an abandoned Nullborn outpost, drawing their forces into a predictable defense. As expected, Nullborn war machines responded swiftly, flooding the sector with mechanized fury. Meanwhile, a stealth team led by Arya Chen prepared for insertion onto the Nullborn command node, a colossal space station buried within a gas giant's swirling atmosphere. The boarding shuttle pierced the stormy clouds, shields straining against electrical storms. The tension was palpable. Failure meant not just death, but allowing the Nullborn's dark empire to spread unchecked. Inside the station, corridors pulsed with eerie blue light. Nullborn sentries, sleek, faceless automatons, patrolled relentlessly. Area's team moved with precision, avoiding detection, their every step measured. At the heart of the station, they found the central control core, a massive, pulsating orb of energy surrounded by intricate machinery. The Nullborn intelligence itself. Leela Hammond interfaced with the core's systems, fingers flying over her console. We have minutes before the Nullborn realized the breach. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Nullborn had detected the intrusion. Defense protocols activating, Leela warned. Automatons flooded the chamber, weapons blazing. A fierce firefight erupted. The team fought with everything they had, blending human ingenuity with Iriani combat training. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and every second stretched into eternity. Outside, the Dauntless engaged Nullborn reinforcements in a desperate battle. Captain Malik coordinated shield arrays and weapon fire, buying time for the infiltration team. Back inside the station, Leela initiated the core's self-destruct sequence. We're running out of time. The team raced toward the exit, dodging blasts and collapsing corridors. As the station began to fracture, they leaped into their shuttle and blasted away just as the command node exploded in a blinding supernova of light. The victory was hard-won, but critical. The Nullborn command structure was shattered, at least for now. Returning to the Dauntless, the crew was weary but hopeful. Malik addressed his team. This war is far from over. But today, we showed that even in the darkest void, humanity's light can blaze brightest. The Iriani captain smiled faintly. The machine may return, but so long as beings remember to fight, there is hope. As the Dauntless set course for the next unknown, a silent vow passed through the crew, to face whatever came with courage, unity, and unbreakable spirit. Because in the vast expanse of space, hope was humanity's greatest weapon. The explosion of the Nullborn command node echoed across the galaxy, not just as a signal of victory, but as a harbinger of the war's escalation. The SSV Dauntless had struck a decisive blow, but the Nullborn were far from defeated. They were machines of relentless logic and adaptation, evolving with each encounter. The destruction of their core ignited a new wave of fury. Captain Rajan Malik stood on the bridge, the weight of command heavier than ever. Sensors flared, tracking multiple hostile contacts emerging from the dark edges of known space. Captain, multiple Nullborn fleets detected. Heading this way. Lieutenant Area Chen reported, her voice steady but tense. They're converging fast. Malik clenched his fists. They're coming for us. Elise Varga stepped forward, a grim resolve in her eyes. We've disrupted their command. Now they'll unleash everything to crush us. This could be the battle to end all battles. The Iriani captain, standing silently beside Leela Hammond, finally spoke. The Nullborn will not retreat. They see this war as a calculation, an algorithm to be solved. They will strike until the equation favors them. Malik's gaze hardened. Then we rewrite the equation. The Dauntless prepared for the storm. Shields fortified, weapons primed, crew ready. Every heart aboard beat with the knowledge that the next hours could decide the fate of countless worlds. Suddenly, a distress signal crackled through the comms, an urgent plea from a nearby human colony under Nullborn siege. We can't ignore it, Malik said. Divert course. We save them. The ship surged forward, weaving through asteroid fields as Nullborn warships closed in. The colony was a sprawling network of domes and towers, vulnerable and fragile. As the Dauntless entered orbit, the Nullborn fleet unleashed a barrage of plasma and missiles, turning the sky into a storm of fire. Malik rallied his crew. Deploy fighters. Protect the colony's defenses. Lieutenant Area led a squadron of sleek starfighters, darting through enemy fire, striking Nullborn drones with precision. Below, ground teams coordinated with colony defenders, fighting back the relentless mechanical horde. In the chaos, the Nullborn revealed a terrifying new weapon, a colossal war machine, towering and relentless, with weaponry designed to crush entire cities. The dauntless weapons battered the machine, but it advanced like a juggernaut immune to most attacks. "Target its power core," Leela shouted from weapons control. "If we take that out, we can stop it." The battle raged, the sky ablaze with destruction and hope intertwined. Inside the command deck, Malik's voice was calm but fierce. "This is humanity's fight. We don't back down." As the Nullborn war machine pressed closer, Area led a desperate assault squad to its flank, their fighters weaving through heavy fire. With a coordinated strike, they targeted the core, detonating a chain reaction that sent the war machine crashing to the ground in a shower of sparks and debris. The Nullborn fleet, shaken, began to retreat, their cold precision giving way to cautious withdrawal. Cheers erupted across the Dauntless, but Malik silenced them with a raised hand. "This is a victory," he said, "but the war is not over. The Nullborn will adapt, and so must we." The Iriani captain nodded solemnly. "We have shown them the strength of life's chaos, but the storm will rise again." As the Dauntless prepared to pursue the fleeing enemy, Malik allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. In the vast, unforgiving darkness of space, the battle lines were drawn. Humanity and its allies stood as the final barrier against the cold logic of destruction. The rising storm was far from over. But so long as courage burned within their hearts, hope remained. And hope, Malik knew, was the greatest weapon of all. The SSV Dauntless and its weary crew raced through the shadowed expanse toward the Nullborn's heart, an ancient Dyson sphere orbiting a dying star. The final battle awaited them there. Captain Rajin Malik stood on the bridge, the hum of the ship's engines a solemn reminder of all they had endured, and all that still hung in the balance. Beside him, the Iriani captain's eyes burned with grim determination, while the rest of the crew moved with quiet, resolute focus. "We're facing extinction or survival," Malik said. "There's no turning back." The star outside flared ominously, casting an eerie glow on the massive megastructure. Sensors swirled with data. Nullborn war machines, automated defenses, and endless arrays of energy weapons, all waiting to annihilate intruders. Dr. Leela Hammond's fingers danced across her console. "Our scans show the Nullborn have centralized their entire network here. Destroy it, and we cripple their species permanently." "But it's a fortress," Lieutenant Arya Chen added. "They've anticipated this assault." Elise Varga stepped forward, voice steady. "Then we fight smart, and together." The Dauntless advanced cautiously into the sphere's outer defense ring. Nullborn sentinels emerged like cold ghosts, their metallic forms glinting with lethal precision. A fierce firefight erupted, the ship's weapons blazing against relentless waves. Inside, Malik coordinated the defense with tactical brilliance honed by years of command. "Focus fire on shield generators. We punch through their defenses, but fast." The crew moved like a well-oiled machine, each knowing their role as if it were instinct. Meanwhile, Arya led an elite boarding team, tasked with infiltrating the sphere's core and planting a virus designed by Layla to disrupt Nullborn systems. The boarding shuttle pierced the defenses, weaving through storms of energy and debris. Inside the Dyson sphere, they found a labyrinth of machinery, endless corridors alive with pulsing light and cold mechanical sentries. As the team advanced, they faced relentless Nullborn automatons, machines of devastating efficiency and unyielding will. The fighting was brutal and close. Each corridor was a gauntlet, every step a struggle. Yet Arya's team pressed on, driven by the hope of ending the nightmare. Back on the Dauntless, Malik's attention snapped to the main viewer. An immense Nullborn war machine, the largest yet, surged toward the ship. It was a titan of metal and energy, its steps shaking the very fabric of the sphere. "Weapons ready," Malik commanded. "All hands, brace for impact." The colossal machine struck, ramming the Dauntless with devastating force. The ship rocked, alarms blaring as hull breaches opened and power flickered. Malik grit his teeth. Return fire. Focus everything on its core. The battle became a deadly dance, human ingenuity and courage clashing against unfeeling machine precision. Deep inside the sphere, Aria's team reached the central processor. Lila's virus deployed, sending tendrils of code twisting through nullborn systems. Lights flickered, machines stuttered. Suddenly, the virus triggered a massive feedback loop. The Dyson sphere trembled. "Time to go," Aria ordered. The team raced back through collapsing corridors, the sphere breaking down around them. As they rejoined the Dauntless, Malik saw the massive war machine faltering, its systems unraveling. "Now," he shouted. The Dauntless fired a final barrage, a concentrated storm of plasma and missiles that struck the giant machine's heart. It exploded in a brilliant cascade, the shockwave ripping through the Dyson sphere's core. Outside, the massive structure began to collapse, fragments of nullborn technology burning in the star's dying light. The nullborn threat was shattered. The crew gathered in the mess hall, exhaustion and relief washing over them. The Ariani captain raised a hand. "You have done more than fight," he said. "You have rekindled hope. The galaxy will remember this day." Malik smiled wearily. "We fought not because we had to, but because we believe in life's chaos, the unpredictable, beautiful spark that makes us human." Leela nodded. "And in that chaos, we find strength." Aria looked around the room, eyes shining with quiet pride. The storm passed, but the stars still call us forward. As the SSV Dauntless set course for home, battered but unbroken, the crew understood this was more than a victory. It was a new beginning. In the endless night of space, humanity's light shone brighter than ever.